Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. We're Zach and Mac, and for today's last call, we're going to be looking at Ticket to Ride London.
Ticket to Ride London is one of my favorite games, so spoiler alert on my score. But I love London, and I think that's probably the main reason for that. Because Zach and I went to London on our honeymoon, because I really wanted to, and Zach wanted to see the British Open, and so we went across the island to go see that. And so anytime we pull this game out, it's like reliving some of those days in London, which I think is really great. Zach got me this for my birthday, and so it's been a staple game that I've been asking to play for probably the last 6 months. So, great.
Yeah.
Thanks,
like
babe.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, while we're playing it and seeing those destinations, I mean, some of them we definitely remember seeing in our time there, and it always brings back good memories from our honeymoon. So.
Yeah, and it's always fun to point out, like, oh, Buckingham Palace, been there.
Right, to other players who have never been to London, they really appreciate that.
It's too fun.
But I would say the rule book and rules on this game are pretty clearly explained.
Yeah, just a quick pamphlet, both sides.
Yeah, I think it does a great job of explaining how you pick a card or lay down buses or else pick up new destination cards.
Yeah, and I think with Teachability, it's kind of skewed for us because I think everyone we've taught it to has played a different version of Ticket to Ride. Probably like Europe, that most of the people we've taught to have played. But I did teach it to my mom, and I think she might have played Ticket to Ride Europe like years ago. And she's not a big board gamer, but when I taught it to her, about halfway through, she was finally like, "Oh yeah, this makes sense." So I think it's pretty teachable and definitely more approachable than some of those bigger games.
Yeah, for sure.
Components? What do you think of the box?
Well, I think the box size is just about perfect in my opinion.
I agree.
And the insert inside the box is great as well. I mean, it splits up.
So organized.
Right, splits up all the different player colors into their own different compartments, along with having a place for the cards to fit almost exactly in place. And then the same with the board itself. It folds up and fits into the box and slides into the slot perfectly. And I think it's the perfect size box for what the game is.
Yeah, and the board, I think the board is really pretty. Maybe a little busy in some spots just because they have all of like the roadways, and I think there might be some tube map underneath of the bus lanes. But one thing I really love is the scoring track around the outside of the board is like ticket stubs, which I think is really cute, and they're all like different kinds. And so I really like the board. I think it's a good representation of what London is.
Yeah, and I really like the plastic buses myself. I just
See, I thought they were a little thin, but
I will admit they're a little thinner than the train cars and the other versions of Ticket to Ride, but I think I still like and appreciate that they're buses, which makes it a little bit different from the base game.
And not like modern buses. They're actually like the old school, like red London buses that you'd see in like a movie.
Yeah, that's why I really like that one of the colors they chose was red, but I still don't know if I'm a huge fan of the pastels of the color choices for player colors. The red, blue, white, and purple. I don't know. It sort of seemed to clash a little bit with the game, in my opinion.
I'll agree that the colors probably aren't the best choice. The red, blue, and yellow or white is probably just because that's the color of the English flag. I don't understand why they have the purple in there, but I love the purple color. I think it's really fun to play. I want to play purple every time I do, even though I don't understand the significance of the purple in relation to London. Royalty, maybe? I don't know. But they are pastels, which kind of clash with the colors on like the game board. And maybe they did that on purpose for that reason, but
Yeah, definitely could be. And along with that, the cards I think are a little small for my liking.
Yeah.
I wish they were a little closer to playing cards, that kind of size, or even somewhere in between what
They're
they
kind of
currently
hard
are.
to hold.
They're definitely sometimes hard to tell how many of each color you have in your hand because they're a little difficult in that way sometimes. But I don't know. What did you think about the cards? I know you typically like a little smaller cards than I do, but
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of small cards. Yeah, I just think they're so hard to shuffle, so hard to hold, and I think they break down a lot faster than decent sized cards just because they're going to go through so much wear because they're not naturally fitting into your hand for a shuffle. But my main discrepancy with the cards is that so we're laying buses on the boards, which is super cute, but then the transportation cards are not buses. Okay, like one it's the rainbow and it's a bus, it's great, but everything else is just cars or random cars. And how about a submarine? Like on one of them. And I get it because it's yellow and it's a submarine, so if you know the Beatles, it makes sense. But I think I just wanted to see buses, and that probably isn't a popular opinion. People probably like that they're trying to align the cards more with some typical things you'd see in London, like the taxi cab, the black taxi cab. But overall, I don't think that I really care if there's a milk truck on the blue card.
right.
Like it just kind of took away a little bit for me. But
yeah, I would agree. I would have probably preferred if they had done all the different colored buses on those instead. See, some of them just felt like they didn't belong, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's
maybe
like a
there's
Formula
some reason,
One car or something
yeah,
on one of them.
maybe there's a reason for why they chose those specific ones, but I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
But I would have definitely, like Ticket to Ride has, just the different train cars. I would have maybe done some different types of buses, maybe, or slight variances on them, and then just had them the different colors.
Yeah, agreed. So gameplay.
Yeah, I think theme and gameplay wise, the route building definitely feels like you're building, a bus line from one certain location to another. Feels like you're covering the board and going from one place to another.
I think the district feature in this game is really cool. Because London is actually divided into districts, just kind of like New York City is divided into boroughs, and so for them to kind of nod at that district aspect was pretty cool. And I also think it adds something to the game without being overwhelming. Like there's no more tunnels and there's no more long trains, but there's still ways to get extra points on the game board. So I think that's a neat change from the Ticket to Ride Europe version that I've played. Also, I forgot to note the destination cards, tickets that you would get throughout the game. They are color coded, so if one starts in one district, it'll have like a blue circle, and if it ends in a different district, it'll have a black circle. And so, in that way, you can kind of see what districts you are going to be connecting.
I was not aware of that.
It's real subtle.
But now I will be checking for that in future plays in this game.
That's how I win.
You just looking at which card. Not quite sure how that helped you overly win, but
No, it doesn't.
but it might. But otherwise, yeah, the turns themselves too are lightning fast. You just either pick up a card or play a train or
Yeah, it's
pick
like
up
a
new
15-minute game, so it definitely does not take long.
Yeah, it's about the perfect time span if you need, a quick game for lunch or something like that.
Yeah.
Looking for a little taste of Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
So,
Last call.
what's your last call on this game?
So I give this one a 9 out of 10. I think it's easily my favorite Ticket to Ride version. I really do love Ticket to Ride Europe. It was one game that I started playing, but Ticket to Ride London, I don't know if it's just the nostalgia associated with the game, but I like, it doesn't feel as cutthroat. And not that Ticket to Ride Europe is cutthroat, it's just, anytime I've played it, there's no racing, to get places, kind of, but I haven't played it with, I have played it with multiple, like, the 4-player version, but it still didn't feel, like, terrible, like, that we were going after each other. I think everything is well spaced. Something I don't like is the luck factor, and I mean it's hard to avoid it, but I think there's only like 2 or 3 high point cards for destination tickets, and so basically if you don't get one of those, and if you get one and it doesn't connect with the other card in your hand, then it's going to be really tough because you're going to have to spend turns trying to draw these destination tickets, and then just hope it already aligns with something you've already built. I know I played it once with my sister, and she somehow was able to get like multiple destination tickets that she just kept drawing, and they just kept building together. Like, it was amazing, and it was in a 4-player game. I couldn't believe it. It was insane. So I think that luck factor, and then the destination cards maybe not being as equally distributed point wise, maybe is something that I take it down for. So.
Well, it's probably just because it's such a short, quick game that you don't really have time to make up for that.
Right.
So yeah, like in the Ticket to Ride Europe, which is the one that we've probably played most outside of this one, I think you at least have some time to build. Even
Spend
if you
a
have,
turn.
even if your opponents get some better cards right away, yeah, you still have
You
time.
can make up for it.
But yeah, this one it's really quick, and before you know it, someone's gonna be out of trains and the game's gonna be over.
Right.
But I think that's why I give it a 8 out of 10. It's just a perfect bite-sized version of Ticket to Ride, like you said. It was one of the first games that got me into the hobby as well, Ticket to Ride Europe, that is, and I still love that game, but this game gives a very similar experience in 15 minutes, so it's one that I really like to bring out if we don't have much time to do something.
Right.
Still feels like a full experience, but
Right. Because
in 15
if
minutes.
Zach's going to want to bring an hour-and-a-half game to the table, he's probably not going to pick Ticket to Ride Europe just because we played it so much, and he has so many other games that he wants to be playing. And so if we want to play, Ticket to Ride, we're probably going to choose London because it's that quick bite size and gives you that perfect feel of still having played the game.
Yeah, and like you said before, I think it's a little more approachable than some of the bigger versions of Ticket to Ride, which kind of cover up a whole tabletop, whereas this one covers up about maybe half that size, roughly. It just feels more approachable. I think if you were a non-gamer and you kind of walked by and saw it, I don't know, I think you'd be more willing to possibly join in or ask to join in if it looked like it interested you.
Yeah,
But,
great.
yeah.
Cool. Well, now I kind of want to play it.
That sounds about right. We'll have to play it right after this. Well, if you want to see anything more on Ticket to Ride London, we'll have some other videos where we'll do a playthrough, a brief rules explanation, and also a very short overview of the game. So check those videos out if you want to know more about Ticket to Ride London. Also, leave a comment below with your favorite version of Ticket to Ride, and we'll let you know if we've played it and what our thoughts are on it.
Yeah. So, sounds good. Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, see you later.
Bye.